EJay The DJ, Walker Flock in this motherfucker Brick Squad and Monopoly, bitch.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your teacher, EJay The DJ.
Yep, you know what it is. ATL, man, like I said, I'm back outside. Your boy EJay The DJ, man, this conversation with a DJ, like I said, we always somewhere new. We always doing something creative. And today I got somebody that's very, very important because he's with the financial literacy. That means making some money. Some of y'all on the couch right now ain't doing nothing. It's okay. We got you. You know, Valentine's Day coming up. You know, springtime is coming up. Spring break. You got to make some money. You got to have some money. Some of y'all doing what y'all do, but I got somebody special. We're going to talk to him. Wanzo, financial genius. He's making the money, and we ain't capping. This is all real. Live entertainment. Wanzo, welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
No doubt, no doubt. I want to talk about your success because as Atlanta, like I said, I moved to Atlanta because black success is really important, and he's one of the examples why I say black success is important, and I believe his success leaving clues. So I'm excited to sit with him and learn about him because money is what the world go around. Some of y'all voted for Trump because y'all think he's going to give y'all money, but I don't know what's next, but we're going to figure this out. But he's here, and we're going to talk to him, and we're going to dive in. The first question we're going to go into before we do anything is why is financial literacy so important?
Hey, people, what's going on? It's Wanzo doing things the Wanzo way. I just want to take out the time to share some information with you in regards to financial literacy and why it's quite important, especially in the African-American community.
Yes.
A lot of us did not have the opportunity to learn and develop these skills as we were moving along at a very young age. Our parents wasn't giving this, so they had nothing to give us in return.
Agreed.
As far as steering us in the right direction. So we had to go through our own trials and tribulations when it came to this type of stuff. But financial literacy is one of the core components that you need in order to understand money and how to position yourself with money.
Yeah.
So, you know, throughout the course of me trying to learn things as moving along, you know, growing up in the projects and things of that nature, we never knew what real credit was and how powerful it was until you went to go apply for something, and then the first thing they asked you was, you know, we got to pull your credit. And, you know, if you're unaware what credit is, you're like, well, what's that? You know,
Facts,
and you're like, go ahead. You don't know what type of damage that it could probably do.
Them hard hits ain't no joke.
Yeah, them hard inquiries, because listen, each inquiry is 3 points. Yeah. Right? So if you get if you get 3 inquiries, that's 9 points.
Wow.
You know, so just imagine if you do that, and then if your credit scores are below a 600, it turns into 7 points. So if you get 3 inquiries, that's 21 points. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you have to be aware of what you're doing when it comes to credit, and you have to know how to educate your mind when it comes to financial literacy.
Okay.
So one thing I always tell people, one way to defeat something is to learn how it works, right? So the only way to actually defeat, credit and learn how to use it in the right way is to learn how to use it, right?
Okay.
So you first have to establish yourself understanding what credit really is, and credit is nothing more than a financial book for your ability to manage finances, right? Okay. That's all it is. It's a report card. Yeah. How do you actually manage money? That's all people look at. That's all the underwriters look at. Okay. And you have to understand when they're looking at that, what they're looking for. So if you know what someone's looking for, give it to them, right? Gotcha. So you have to learn what to have on your credit report to make you a credit worthiness person. Okay. That's what's important. So it's very essential that you guys understand like what a primary account is, what an authorized user account is, what inquiries are, and then the actual credit plan, the algorithm itself, how it calculates your credit report, right? Because these are the things that's going to be critical when it comes to getting funded.
Makes sense a lot. So how do somebody learn? Because, you know, it's so much stuff on social media right now. Everybody's a social media expert. Everybody's giving information. Every time I go on TikTok and somebody talk about Navy Federal, somebody's talking about how to get money from Chase without a loan. I mean, without information and documentation. Like, how do we cut out all the bullshit and get direct to the source to find out what's really and what's fake?
Well, really, what you want to do is, you know, deal with somebody that came as an actual reference. Right? Okay. If your friend has dealt with me, for example, and he say, well, Wanzo showed me this, he taught me that. Because one thing about me, most people know that actually deal with me, I don't talk, I produce, I show.
I like that.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So anything I tell you, I can show you how I did it. I can show you what I did and why I did it, right? Everything I do has a strategy and a structure behind it. Okay. And it's a reason why I'm doing it. I'm just not doing it to go get a credit card like some of these people go get credit cards and they have the slightest clue why they got this credit card. It's not even beneficial to them.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to understand where to actually get that information from, and you want to get it from a powerful source that actually is already experienced in the field.
Gotcha.
So one of my things I would suggest people do is get a mentor, but get a well-known mentor that's actually showing people how to actually go about getting financial literacy under their belt, right?
Gotcha.
They're going to kind of take their hand a little bit, right? They're going to try to walk them through it. They're not going to give them just, a course sometime. They're going to actually say, hey, come into the room with me. I'm going to go through these steps with you and show you how this is actually done.
Makes sense.
Step by step.
So how do you find a mentor? Because, I hear that term a lot, especially around social media, how to find a mentor. But how do you find the right mentor? Because everybody, my experience, feel like they know what they're doing until it's time to do it. So that's why I say you definitely giving us the right direction. But how do you find a mentor?
Well, again, right, so what you want to do is look at what somebody's done in the past history, right?
Okay.
Now, don't get it twisted. People out there fluffing, right?
A lot of fluff out here. Facts.
People out there fluffing, but
Yeah.
the consistency of what somebody's doing, year after year over a period of time, well, at some point they got to be doing it right.
Gotcha.
Because fluff is only going to get you so far.
That's very true. Very true.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I could send, shout outs to, a couple of my own people that, I've looked to help me understand and digest things, you know what I'm saying? In the financial literacy space. One person is Herman Doss, him 500. Those two people right there, I'm real tight and close with those guys, and we can share a lot of information amongst each other, but there's no fluff.
Got you. How long did it take you to learn that? Because, financial literacy is like a huge thing. It's a lot of numbers, a lot of information. How long it took you to really get the grasp of all that?
Well, you have to practice anything to become perfect in it, right?
Yes, you do.
That's what you have to do.
Okay.
So, again, it's going to be all about consistency, right? So in order to actually digest the information that you receive, you got to take it, try it. It's going to be trial and error.
Yes.
Right? Some things are going to work, some things are not going to work. But what you really must do is understand how to put things together and put it in an order where it makes sense. You can't put the cart before the horse.
That makes sense.
It just don't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So grab it piece by piece.
Okay.
When I say piece by piece, for example, you have to understand, what is actually used to understand credit itself. So you have what you call a credit pie, right?
Okay.
That credit pie is divided by 5 parts, right? You have the type of credit, that's 10%. You have the length of credit, that's 15%. You have utilization, that's 30%. You have payment history, that's 35%. Right?
Okay.
You have those different types of pieces in the pie, and you got to understand what each one of them is actually doing in your credit report, right? On your credit profile. For example, if you have high utilization is 30% of the credit algorithm, right? So if your utilization goes up high, then it's going to impact your credit score pretty deep because it's 30% of that 100% pie.
Okay, that makes sense.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now reverse that. If you got low utilization and you had a great payment history, right? Because payment history is 35%. That's 65% together. So if you just got those two alone, your credit score is going to be pretty nice, right? Because that's over 65%, right?
Gotcha.
Now you have to figure out how long have you had 35% payment history?
Yeah.
How long have you had low utilization?
Gotcha.
Over a period of time. That's 15%. That's the length, right? People get confused when they talk about payment history and length. Okay, payment history is that, okay, for the last 2 months you paid your bills on time. That was the last 2 months.
Yeah.
But this guy over here,
Overall.
he paid his bills on time for the last 10 years.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? So his length is going to make a significant impact to the his report, and that's called age.
Got you.
Most credit reports that has a great credit score,
Yeah.
5 to 7 years.
So how do you get your credit utilization down? Like if it's really high, how do you get that down?
Well, obviously one way, if you owe money, just pay it back.
So is
But
a,
it's
a lot of, and not to cut you off, but some people on social media say if you owe credit to a creditor, don't pay it back because they sold it already. Is that an actual fact?
So let me ask you your first question because I don't want the audience to think that I skipped that, right?
Gotcha.
So the way to get the utilization now, it's only 2 ways, right? One is you can pay it, right? And obviously you're not doing that, so that might be out the picture. The other way is to actually get an actual loan, right? If you get a loan, because most high utilization is from credit cards.
Yes.
Okay? And utilization loans don't affect your utilization. They only affect your debt to ratio income.
Okay.
So you get a loan to pay down your utilization, which is the revolving credit, and then it's only going to affect your debt to ratio. You don't have to worry about your debt to ratio unless you want to buy something big, like a house or a building or something like that.
Yeah.
Make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. So that's a trickery around how to get your utilization down. Plus, there's different ways that you can hide your utilization using different payment methods off of credit cards and loans and things of that nature.
We get some gems today, baby. I like that. So I see on social media a lot of people say that if you owe money and the credit card company sells your debt to another company, you don't got to pay it no more because they actually sold it, it's paid off. Is that accurate?
It depends. Okay. So if they sold it, okay. So let me tell you like this: you're talking about a third party collection.
Yes.
Okay. If you and I entered an agreement, right? That agreement is between who?
Me and you.
Okay. So if you took the agreement and you sold it to somebody else, who is the agreement between now?
Still between me and you.
So the third party never had an agreement with me,
no.
Right? So why do I owe them anything?
Agreed.
Where's the binding contract between us?
Okay.
There isn't one.
Got you.
So if it's not one, how do I owe you? I owe you. But if you wrote that off as a debt, as you know, as a what we call it, a write-off.
Okay.
Right? If you wrote that off, then you can't collect on it, because you already wrote it off. It doesn't make sense. You wrote it off on your books, which is going to go towards your taxes.
Got you. So if somebody told them right now, what should they do? Should they just leave it alone? Should they call the person that they owe the money to, the credit card they owe the money to, or just keep pushing?
You talking about if they sold the debt?
Yes, they said they sold the debt. What do they do next after the credit card sells the debt, and that person is still getting hit from the third party? What should they do?
Well, the first thing they want to do is understand who owns the debt. Okay. You can't collect on something that you don't own.
Got you.
Because sometimes you will have a debt collector report to your credit report and the original creditor. Who owns it? Somebody's lying.
Got you.
So you have to figure out who owns it. Let me show you a trick. So if you have an actual debt collector calling you, right, and you have the original creditor kind of still trying to report it, they both can't own the account. Only one can.
Got you.
So what you would do is you would call and try to pay. Say you're trying to pay the actual original creditor.
Yeah.
They can't accept money that you don't owe them. It's illegal. So if the actual creditor, the actual debt collector, says, hey, you owe us money, well, do you own this account? And if they say yes, then you ask them, hey, well, give me a validation of debt for this account, right? Show me that you actually, give me assignment of debt for this account.
Yeah.
Right? An assignment is saying that the actual original creditor hired you to come after Jim to actually get that money.
Got you.
But if they actually sold that debt, they didn't hire nobody. You brought that debt for pennies on the dollar, by the way. You guys need to know that. For pennies on the dollar, they actually bought that debt. And I do mean pennies. I mean like 4 cents to the dollar.
Wow.
And then they'll try to get the whole amount that you're supposed to owe from them.
It's a big business out here. Big business out here.
So to make sure I answer your question directly is that you can't collect on something you owe you don't own, right?
Got you.
And the fact of the matter is they don't own it, they can't collect on it.
That makes
sense. So you always want to ask them show me your ownership of the debt.
Got you.
If it's not an assignment of debt, then they can't collect on it. And they must be able to collect in your state as well.
Nah, that's real interesting to hear that, because a lot of people, I think, y'all don't be understanding what be going on and how it be going on. And there's some juice right here, so I hope y'all tuned in right now. I hope y'all writing this down. Cause you're gonna definitely get his social media and everything, because we want to get y'all to really understand this. Because this credit card information, this black community, we want y'all to be better than before, because I feel like credit is really important. And you can have all the money in the world, but your credit is horrible. It makes no sense. You're not buying a house for straight cash. It got to make sense. So, how do people find you? I know you say you got a free class. How do people find you?
Well, you can definitely go to my IG. It's A_Wanzo. So that's A_WANZO.
Okay. Right?
And then I also have a website you can go to. It's thewanzoway.com. That's TheWanzoway.com. and you can go there and actually just book a call with me. You can actually set up and understand my mentorship.
Yeah.
In addition to some other things I may offer, whether that's one-on-one classes, and in addition to corporations, chef corps, if you need that. We have a tax service as well. There's a couple of different options that you can actually pick in the service that we have to offer you. So definitely go check out the website. Again, that's thewonzoway.com, and you can go to _Wanzo on IG.
Nah, that's. See, I just want y'all to get really in tune, because how many people don't really take advantage of fixing their credit? Because as being a black man, being successful, I know you. I don't know the numbers, but how is the ratio in the black community as far as people not fixing their credit? Because that's something I really want to touch upon, because I feel how important that is.
Well, we got better.
Okay.
Right? We got better because we know better.
Yes.
Right? And it's not that we don't want to do better. Some of us just don't know how to do better.
Understandable.
That's the biggest challenge, right?
Yes.
And so now that we actually have the opportunity to understand and digest this information, we actually starting to even the playing field with that, right?
Okay.
But as we start to even the playing field, they tried to change the rules again.
Yeah.
So you got to keep up with the trends of what's going on. That's
Gotcha.
the most important thing.
Yeah.
So the percentage is not as bad as it used to be.
That's a great thing. That's a great
It's
thing.
not as bad as it used to be. We understand what ownership means. Like when I
Yeah.
say ownership, we know that we have to have credit in order to get a house.
Yes, we
do.
do.
Know we have to have credit in order to get a business.
Facts.
All those things fall into play now. So,
Yeah.
so the core component of getting access to financial success is always going to be your personal credit profile, not the business. That first, the personal credit is always the door opener, because if you don't actually take care of your personal credit, what makes you think that a financial institution will think you don't take care of your business credit?
That definitely makes sense. I definitely see that a lot. And the reason why I say that, because this is coming to Atlanta, New York City. You hear so much about credit, and there's so much misinformation. What's the misinformation that you hear about credit? About credit in general?
Sometimes when people are selling people, and it just depends on the actual situation, but a lot of times when they're telling them that they can get business credit without an EIN number. Without their social security number.
Right? I got you.
And it's like, okay, well, that depends on the situation in certain scenarios, right? But most of the time, you have to understand what I'm saying. Who's going to want to give you money without you putting skin in the game? I get so many people who say like, hey, I want business credit, but I don't want nothing in my name. I don't want to sign as a personal guarantor. Well, you're telling the financial institution that you don't believe in yourself.
Facts.
But they supposed to believe in you?
Yeah, that makes no sense at all.
Well, that makes sense
at all.
Are you going to get somebody like, well, I might do it, I might not do it, but I need your money to try it. Come on, man. No, it ain't make no damn sense. So it's like, it's things like that, right? So you just got to make it make sense for everybody, right? If you believe in you, if you don't believe in you, who's supposed to?
Agree with that 100%.
That's the question.
Yeah.
So you have to have enough belief in yourself to know that you're going to make it, that your company's going to be successful, and that you're willing to take the challenge, not just for somebody else's money, but your own money in your own time.
Now, that definitely makes sense, man. I just want y'all to get a real understanding about what's going on, because like this is real life. Ain't no do-overs. That credit is really it's easy to mess up, super duper easy, but it's so hard to fix, man. Like what's the average time of getting your credit repaired? Because that shit takes you could fuck it up so fast, and it could take about 6 months to 2-3 years to get it right.
Well, if somebody really knows what they're doing, I would say a maximum of 6 months.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're running a credit repair business, right? There's a couple of different ways of running business models, right? One way you can run it is that you can actually just charge an upfront fee, which is actually illegal in Atlanta, Georgia, just to let you know.
What's the upfront fee?
Fee. Right. Yeah. So you can't really, credit repair in Atlanta is illegal unless you're tied into some type. It is unless you're tied into some type of legal entity like a lawyer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody that has a license with the state.
Wow.
Right? Or you have to be a non-for-profit.
Okay.
All right. You can teach credit, but you can't do credit repair because there's a lot of there's more.
I learned something new today.
Yeah. There's a lot of fraud with it. Right?
I see that.
And so a lot of banks don't. If you got a credit repair company, a lot of banks don't even want to do business with you. They won't do business with you, actually, right? So you have to find third-party vendors that will actually, understand the line of business that you're in and actually do business with you, knowing what the risk is. But they normally keep 10% of whatever your margin, whatever your profit is, just in case they have to, get a high return of,
Okay.
People.
I ain't know that. I thought it was legal. The way they talk about it in later, you would think that shit was legal.
It's not. You can look it up on the state website.
Wow. See, that's why I call it scam land out here, man. You gotta be so careful out here for real. So, like, what's like the craziest shit you've seen in the credit repair business? Like what's the lowest somebody's credit score could be? Like,
man,
the lowest you've seen.
What's the murder number?
187?
Man, nah, it's a 187.
Yeah, 187. 187, right?
This dude is. I've never seen a credit score that was in the threes. I seen it was one of my homies. I said, man, I need to check. Look at my credit.
Damn.
And it's 387. I thought it was three something. Anyway, this dude credit was so low, man. I was like, dude, like you shouldn't even have any type of profile at all. I don't know how they came.
I didn't know it
how they
that
came
low.
up with that score. Yeah, it's low.
Jesus.
I think it goes from 300 to 850.
Okay. Damn, that's low. Yeah.
It's 300 850.
Okay.
So yeah, it was crazy. It was.
How hard is it to get an 850? Is that like a hard?
Is it 387?
No, 187 is murder. I know that 187. But you probably talk about the kingpin status. It's 3 something. I forgot what it's called.
Okay, no biggie. We ain't got to sweat it. But what's your question though?
Like how long it take to get an 850 like that? How long it take to get the 850?
Most people with an 850 score have 5 to 7 years, right? Because it takes time to build up that the length, right?
Yeah.
And then they normally have anywhere from 8 to 10 accounts. And those are primary accounts. Like what I mentioned in the beginning, you guys need to know the difference between a primary and an authorized user and understand the impact it's going to make on your credit report. Because you can build out your credit report too, right? So you don't have to wait all that time. You just have to know how to structure it and build it, right? So you never use no more than 2 authorized users. Short name for that is AUs, right? Acronym for that is AUs, right?
Okay.
So never use more than that because underwriter can look at your credit report and say, hey, this is not your credit. Right? If like a guy, so in my school community, a guy popped up. I was taking questions.
Yeah.
He said, "Wanzo, I want to book a call with you, but I don't want to book a call with you, and then you tell me some stuff I already know." I said, "Well, what is it that you know?" He said, "I got a 736 across the board." Okay.
736 nonsense.
I said, okay. Keep in mind, people, it's not about the score, it's about what's in the profile. So now, I said, okay, well, how many primary accounts you got?
Yeah.
He said, I got 2 primary accounts and 3 authorized users. I said, you have what? And then I said, well, what's the highest limit credit card you have? He said, the highest limit credit card I got is $300. I said, and you feel like you ain't gonna get something out of me off the call? Wow. I said, nah, you need to book a call and join the mentorship. Because we need to get you together if you think that you in position. And see, it's people with these false hopes and dreams. And that's what we need to stop. Right?
I agree with you.
Because what I explained to him, I said, do you know somebody with a 650 would get more than you and you got a 700?
Facts versus reality, people. Facts versus reality. A lot of people don't follow facts. They reality is not real. That shit is so important. And that's why people, we got to really understand what we doing out here, because this is real life. I'm gonna tap in with him, let y'all know, because I'm gonna definitely tap in with him. I'm gonna get my drinks like an 850, and we'll get an 850. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, I ain't getting an 850. I'm just joking. But we gonna definitely tap in with him more, because that credit is really important.
Tap in on that 850 for a second. So here's the thing. Everybody wants an 800, right?
Yeah.
The higher credit score with a great profile, the better, right?
Yes,
Don't
it
get
is.
it twisted. But credit is, remember, it's a report card, as I explained to you, right? So if you have, say you got an 850, and I have a 775, well, guess what? We getting the same rate. Now you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like a school essay that you get in school. It's scored almost the same way. You got to fall in a certain bracket. You see what I'm saying?
Understandable.
Now, what's that bracket? Now, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people be like, well, I need an 800. No, you don't. Because this guy with this 775 can get the same rate as you.
Gotcha.
Banks can only go down so far. They got to make some type of money.
Gotta make some kind of money.
Make sense?
But ain't it like the higher your credit score is, the better your APR rate is? Like, it's lower?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, it's not about the credit.
About the profile.
It's about the profile and the score itself, right?
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, a high credit score does lessen your APR because you more credit worthiness, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it's about.
Nah, that's definitely dope. Any celebrities you ever work with? Like, far as in the credit utilization part? I mean, not utilization, but building a credit out, or celebrity before they turn into a celebrity, or somebody that's notable that we could talk about, like this, get an idea?
Of course, I've dealt with celebrities, but I can't mention that on the podcast, man. You can't tell. You
I
can't tell that.
I try, people. I try. It's okay. I try.
Nah,
but
I can't put my people out there like that.
Nah, that's cool. We don't got to talk about who it is, but is it easier to deal with notable people than people that don't have no clue about what's going on, or is it easier to work with people that have money than people that don't have money?
They both can be a challenge,
Okay.
right? Because some people, celebrities, feel like they God,
Yeah.
and they want things done a certain way, but if they knew what they was doing, then they wouldn't have came and got me.
That's a fact.
That's how I look
Yeah.
at things, right? And then you get some people that's just so hungry for money that think this thing's supposed to happen overnight. Well,
Yeah.
how long did it take you to mess it up?
Very
so
true.
should you understand it's going to take some time to fix it,
Got you.
right? So it's always some challenges on both sides.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Now, I definitely get that. You seen the Super Bowl last night?
I did.
How you feel about the Super Bowl?
I had the Eagles all the way. I already told,
Got you.
and just FYI, I told my son, I'm like,
Yeah.
don't bet on the Chiefs. And he betted on the Chiefs.
I
And
lost some money. I lost some money with them,
them,
man. I lost some money with them.
No, so check out, right? The law of numbers or something like that, right? What goes up
Must come down.
must come down,
Yes.
right? Now, at some point, a roller coaster got to start going down, right? The only person to really do that like that was Tom Brady. That was it, right?
Yeah.
So how often do you meet someone like that? You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, they got two already, so it's nothing wrong with the Eagles getting one,
Nah, I definitely understand that.
Shout out to Jalen, good
Yeah.
job. And the rest of the Eagles as well. But I'm just saying, so I'm like, the Eagles, nah. I'm going with the Eagles. Because, see, everybody's going with Kansas City. Because Andy Reid is one of the toughest coaches in the NFL to figure out. Well,
Yeah.
they figured him out this time.
They definitely
And
did.
their defense really, really won that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
They played a hell of a game last night.
Yeah.
Nah, I definitely appreciate it. You think the Super Bowl is worth the money going? Like, worth going to the Super Bowl? Like, you think it's worth paying all that money to sit in them stands?
Would I do it? No. But it would depend on what's going on. And the reason I say that is because you got to look at it like this. If you can afford to do it, and it's a reason, remember I said it's a reason behind everything you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So you got to think about it. If you got a guy, right?
Mhm.
If you got a gentleman or a young lady sitting next to you, and you right there like, center field, you in the third row,
Yeah.
they can afford to sit there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, this whole row, what do you guys have going on? These potential clients.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No. That
one
makes sense.
one client just paid for this Super Bowl ticket.
That
And
makes
I got to
sense.
see the Super Bowl.
So that's pretty much is, if you got some business,
If it's business.
some stake in the game, go for it. But if you just want to be there to say you've been in it for social media, it's not worth it. So he just broke it down to you. That's why I wanted to ask you that. So pretty much, if you got a business and it makes sense for you, definitely go for it.
And you can write it off on your taxes for business expenses too.
That's definitely more important. I want to ask you the $1 million question right now, because I've been hearing so much going on social media with Donald Trump. He's in office right now. I'm not going to ask you, do you vote for him or not, because that's irrelevant. But he is the president. He's been in the office making a lot of changes. How do you feel about the financial changes he's been making? He's going through everything. He's trying to cut stuff. He's saying it'll be more beneficial to the United States. How do you feel about that?
I feel like, you have to understand whether it's a Republican or a Democrat in office, you have to understand what their values are and actually adjust, right? And what I mean by that, there was benefits from Joe Biden. There'll be benefits from Trump too. Now, do we like the characters of either party? No, probably. You know, who knows, right? But how do you position yourself to benefit from it, right? So you have to know how to pivot, right?
Amen.
And so what I'm telling you is this. So say, for example, I'm in a financial literacy space. Do you know one of the key or one of the core government agencies that we use to help fight companies that refuse to fix things on our credit report? It's called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, okay? CFPB. The CFPB is a government body that actually investigates companies that do wrong to consumers, and they go sue them. Financial institutions, whoever. If you do it wrong, they study you for a number of years. They gather data, and then they actually come at you with all this information and find the hell out of you. I'm talking about like $41 million and things of that nature. So when they hear the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is investigating them, they get scared. Okay? Now, we know Trump is a businessman.
Yes, he is.
Okay? Trump is a businessman, right? So what Trump did in his first term was he hired a guy to come in to take over the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and really dismantle it. Now, you're talking about somebody that's the president of the United States that's being put in position to not help support the average American person when they're having trouble on their credit.
That's dangerous.
Okay? Think about that. You have no one else to go to outside of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau unless you go to the Attorney General, right? The Attorney General is statewide. It's not federal like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So you have to know where to go, who you're going to, and why you're going to them. That's very important, right? And so when Trump comes into office, like now, he's talking about setting down the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's going to hurt everybody that's struggling with their credit right now. Because one of the hardest things to do is to deal with credit bureaus right now. But now, since they've been getting sued and they're up against the wall, all of them got sued multiple times already, right?
Wow.
So now what are they going to do? They have to be a little bit more cautious about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the reason why, one time one of the census was like, there's 350 million people in America. 350 million, right? If you got a small percentage of that filing complaints with the credit bureaus every single day. Now, there's this thing. You can have an average of 30 accounts on your credit report, right?
Yeah.
If you complained about 10 of them, and you got just 1 million people complaining about that, how can you keep up with that type of data?
That's a lot. Right.
It's not going to happen. 76% of things on your credit report, like 76 of credit reports have errors.
Yeah.
All types of errors. Whether it's wrong name, wrong date, last date of activity, address, everything. There's so many errors on the credit report that you can get out of, and they don't have time to investigate them. They don't have the manpower to investigate them. How could they?
Yeah, you're right.
You can say, hey, I'm disputing some of my credit report. And when I used to deal with credit on a heavy level, which I still know a lot about credit, just to let you know, on a heavy level, you were sending a complaint, right? Say you did it online, and you needed something verified, right?
Yeah.
Instantly, it would come back in like 10, 15 minutes, verified.
Wow.
Well, there's steps to verifying stuff. I need to call you.
Yeah.
I need to say, hey,
Agreed.
this is John Green, he's disputing that, he didn't come there and, apply for this car and his inquiries on it. You need to go do that. Who did you talk to in 15 minutes?
Facts.
So when you're actually doing these complaints and these disputes, they have codes what they use. It's only 2 codes. Because there's only so many things you can complain about on your credit. Think about it.
Yeah.
There's only a number of things you can complain about. So all the complaints that you possibly have has a code. And when that code goes into this, what you call an e-Oscar machine, right? When it goes into that e-Oscar machine, it's going to read that code. It's an optical reader,
Okay.
right? It's going to figure out what that letter says, and then it's going to put a code on it. And when it figure out what the letter says and put a code on it, it's going to automatically send you that reply verified. Make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. So that means we in trouble, people. Or not we, but you tuned in right now, you don't know what's going on. You in trouble, man. So damn, that credit, that consumer credit report, It's looking bad right now, and it only been a few, not even a whole month yet. It only been a few weeks, and he's getting active. Well, it was a month. It's a few weeks actually. So what do you think that once he dismantled it, you think anything else he could replace it with, or just going to be dismantled?
Well, if he wanted to replace it, why would you dismantle it?
Yeah. So you think after he's over, after the 4 years over, you think the next president will bring it back, or do you think he'll leave it the way it is?
It depends on his values, right? Let's okay. Like Trump might do that, right?
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. How you feel about Joe Biden let all those people come from another country across the border into America?
I didn't agree with that shit at all.
Okay then,
I didn't agree
right?
with that shit at all.
Because here's the problem, right? So you actually allow people these
Because they got a lot of benefits.
they got benefits, but here's the thing. You're not even taking care of your own people, and you letting all these other people come in?
Agreed.
You're giving money to Ukraine, billions of dollars, and then you got U.S. soldiers that's lost their arms and mentally distressed and things of that nature from being at war fighting for this country. Why you didn't get them that money?
Yeah, that's I look at that as well.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never understand how America works sometimes. I understand that we need allies, but one of the biggest problems I see that we have is that we don't take care of our own people first.
That's so true.
How do you let all those people across the border like that?
Yeah.
And then, like in California, they gave them like houses, money.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was
What
ridiculous.
is it called? Asylum or something like that?
Yeah.
I think it's asylum, right? And I'm like, they need asylum in the hood.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Give some asylum in the hood.
I agree with you 100%.
Why can't you take that type of money? Okay. For example, it's a lot of crime, right?
Yes.
Crime has been picking up, right? Do you know what motivates crime? What pushes crime? It's money, right?
Poverty and money.
So if you push financial literacy in the hood and show, how to actually build out a business, understand what personal credit is, understand what business credit is, get the knowledge you need. You're like everybody, like I got to go to college. You don't. You just got to get under a mentor that can show you can do this without college.
Agreed.
All right. Now, do you need some type of education to be on a higher level? You do, right? Because you have to be able to understand and digest what some people are saying.
Yes, you do.
But at the end of the day, why not take that money and invest it in the poverty cities around America instead of investing it on outside countries?
Yeah, I definitely don't understand that shit. They spending too much money too fast in other countries and not enough money here in the United States. So I definitely understand that 100%. That's definitely like something to think about. That's why y'all should be taking your notes. Definitely pay more attention to what's going on, man. We got another 4 years of this shit. Buckle up, put your seatbelt on, and do your research, man. Like for real. Like I really want you to get the information because it's really important. And the opportunities now, don't just be tuned in and don't think about it. I want y'all to really think about it because this is really, really important to understand. Financial literacy is something that's going to be here. And if your credit's not right, if your money's not right, and Trump is in office, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. Stack your money, do something wise with it, do good with your people. Any last minute words?
Well, you got to understand, again, you got to pivot for whoever's in office, right? So there's pros and cons about both sides, which you just heard me mention. Right?
Agreed.
One thing about Trump, though, is he actually, whenever he comes in office, the stock market goes a little crazy because they know he's a business guy, right? So all investors release money, right? So if you know that, regardless of you Republican, Democrat, or what have you, because me, I'm more of an independent, right?
Okay.
Whoever's right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whoever's right.
I agree with you that 100%.
Whoever's right. So like, if you know that, then put your money in positions where it's going to grow. Even if you're not even somebody that's behind Trump, which, still take out the time to understand how can you benefit from him being there, right?
Yes.
If you're not behind Biden, right? Like when Biden was in office, one of the great things Biden did was what? He did something that no president has ever done, ever, even Barack Obama, and that was help getting rid of student loans, which is a devastating impact upon a lot of Americans, right? So why is it that, you give all this money to Ukraine, but we can't go to school for free?
That's another thing, man.
But we can't go to school for free.
It's
this
things
is
like that.
And this is what you need to understand, too, is that student loan service providers are on the stock market. If you ever wonder why it was so difficult for Barack Obama, Joe Biden, anybody that tried to get rid of student loans, is because they're owned by private investors from that point.
Yeah.
You think about how long someone that had student loans. All right, you talking about residual income. Think about that. You talking about a 10-year, 15-year, 20 years. People are not paying back their student loans. They're paying on their student loans. And even if you suspend your student loans, the interest is still going to add up every single day. It's compound interest. So you need to understand that. So when you had the opportunity to get rid of student loans, you should have taken advantage of it. Now, I have a couple of different ways you can still get rid of student loans, because everybody that you owe still have to say, they still have to prove that you owe that debt.
Got you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for the people out there that's struggling with student loans, just book a call with me. Go to my website, theonesaway.com. I got all types of remedies. I'm going to be releasing an ebook on that. I already got an ebook out in regards to how to get rid of any third-party collections, what we talked about.
Okay.
You can get that on my site as well. But you have to understand strategy and structure to do any of the stuff I'm talking about. And that's what you will learn within my mentorship.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get all the websites and the ebooks and everything. We're going to put it down in the description below. So go click on that button below. Make sure you're going to see it. So there's no excuses. So you can't say, "Oh, I didn't get it down." We got you. I'm gonna have everything in the description below. You just click on the link. You're gonna get him directly. You're gonna learn from him. And this is the opportunity, people. Like don't say you wasn't warned. Don't say you don't know. He gave us some jewels, and we humbly appreciate you. Any last minute words?
Just make sure when you do it, you got to do it the Wanzo way. It's the only way to go. All right? Peace.
It's only right, man. EJay the DJ, the Wanzo way. We making history, man. This is 2025. That's it. It's 2025. Get your ass up off that couch. Let's make this shit happen. It's money out here, man. For real. It's money out here. Listen, stop driving that piece of shit and live good. You know what I'm talking about? Until next time, man. Conversation with the DJ. I'm your boy, EJay the DJ. Thank you, bro. Appreciate the conversation.
No
You
doubt.
already know what
Thank
it
you for
is.
having me.
Yes, sir.
Peace.